You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
Welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. This is your match preview. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Of course, I've got the big Don in the building. Great to have you on the Kop TV again. It's the 4th year anniversary of the Kop TV today.
Oh, is it? Well done, man.
We're officially 4 years old. So thanks for all your support over the years.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it, man. You've probably been on here about 15 to 20 times now. So we
big
appreciate the love. Shout out to the Don. Make sure you smash that like button before we jump into this preview. Comment with your lineup predictions, your score predictions, and then subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, I'll send the Don round. Right, Robbie. This tie, Arsenal versus Liverpool, in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup, it is a momentous tie. Two of the top clubs in English football head to head. There's always drama, Robbie, and there's always something that gets us talking. I mean, for Liverpool, is it a good time to come to the Emirates?
Is it a good time to come to the Emirates? It could be. You could say it's a good time because we suffered our first loss at the Emirates against West Ham. We then followed up with another defeat at Fulham. So confidence is a little bit low because of that. But then you could also argue that it's a bad time to come because I fully expect Arsenal to put in a response in this game. I fully expect Arsenal to go with a strong team. I wouldn't be thinking that the manager's going to be looking at resting loads of players for this game because he knows the importance of this. Even though we've got Champions League and we're doing all right in that, and we're still, even though despite those losses, we're still in contention in the league. Yeah. He knows the importance of this game. We can't afford to have another defeat, like 3 defeats in a row, lose to Liverpool, the psychological damage that will sort of do, all the doubts start to come around. You start to think, well, are we really that team we thought we were? So I think it could be coming at a bad time. It could, Salah's going to be away, African Cup of Nations, Endo's going to be Asia Cup. So you are going to have to make some changes. I feel, will go very strong. So it could actually be a worse time to come. I'm just saying that. I think if he's flying high, we might have thought to ourselves, we rest a few players, we keep a few back, we got them in a few weeks' time in the Premier League. But because of those losses, because of the, a little bit of negativities around, I think we're going to go for a strong team. So maybe not a great time to come. But
it's only a bad time to come if you actually do respond. Because if you don't, then again, the questions will be asked about Arteta in terms of, losing a home tie. But to be honest, I do think this is quite evenly contested. It's always difficult. I don't care who you are. When you go to the Emirates, you have to obviously respect the ground and the institution that is Arsenal, the Arsenal, as you like to say. But this is still going to be a very tough game. Now, if you look down across the years, I think I was watching highlights today of you beating us in a hotly contested 2002 FA Cup game. There was 3 red cards in that. Bergkamp off, Keown off for dragging back Michael Owen. And then Carragher threw a coin into the crowd after one was thrown at him. Yeah. So he got sent off. Then you beat us at Anfield. I think Rosicky scored 2 goals, remember that? But then, of course, the famous one. The 2001 FA Cup final. Michael Owen, 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, which broke your heart.
Robbery.
It was a robbery. I'm not going to lie.
I remember being at that game.
Saw the highlights earlier.
Dominated that game.
Couple handballs on the line.
Well, and there was that as well.
Shout out Stefan Henschels.
Referees again getting involved in Liverpool.
Hey, listen.
Little dives
VAR,
going
mate.
on.
No VAR, mate, around them times. But yeah, as I said, this game is just huge, isn't it? We've played you in the League Cup so many times over recent years. We always get each other in the Cups, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And, the last time we was in a Cup, you guys came and turned us over. That was when, I think it was when Jota scored, wasn't it?
Scored a couple.
Yeah. We were pretty poor that day. But if I'm being honest, at those times, you were far... Like when you came in that team with Jota, you were way better than us.
Yeah.
So
we won it that year. We won the FA Cup.
Yeah, you won the FA Cup that year. You were a lot better team than us. It's a bit different now. Up until the last couple of games, I would have really, really fancied it. I still fancy us, but I would have really, really fancied us. We were unbeaten at home. We've beaten Man City at home. We've been very good at the Emirates. But that game against West Ham was, a little bit disappointing. We had 30 shots. didn't convert our chances, and then we followed it up with the game against Fulham. And what you were saying there about responding, the one thing that Mikel Arteta teams has done really, really well has been responding to defeats. That's why I feel the Fulham one was a real shock. The defeat at West Ham, against West Ham, those can happen sometimes. You know what I mean? 30 shots, absolutely peppered
Just wasn't
them.
your day.
Just weren't our day, missed chances. The one against Fulham shocked me because I thought there would be a response, and there weren't. It was a poor performance. So the forward players at Arsenal kind of got to get their act together now. You know what I mean? They've been missing too many chances. I know there's been a lot of talk about the style being a little bit different to how we've played in recent times. But I think the key thing is we've been missing too many chances. And I think those three at the front are a bit stung at the moment by some of the criticism. And they're really going to have to come out and step it up. And they're going to be coming up against a Liverpool that, despite Saka being missing, like you said, Jota's back. And you've got a front line that is firing, you know. Even last time you came, Nunes even scored against us. And last time at the Emirates.
Give it that one.
Yeah, and he did that too early, didn't he? You know what I mean?
To be fair, you got a very questionable penalty that day as well, Rob. So, and we should have had one as well.
Please
so,
do not talk about penalties and
and
questionable decisions after the other night. But listen, it's always, like you said, always a great game, always a tough game. And you've got two teams that are going to go for it. You're not going to have two teams that are going to sit back and park buses and stuff like that. You're going to have two teams that are going to try and attack the game, that are going to try and impose their game on each other. So that makes for a brilliant cup tie.
I don't know if you agree with this, but from a Liverpool fan point of view, out of the top clubs, we respect Arsenal more than any of the top clubs. We hate Chelsea, we hate United, obviously. I think there is respect there for what they've done. Obviously hate City, respect family settings for Everton. But with Arsenal, I do think a lot of Liverpool fans, if they weren't Liverpool fans, they might be Arsenal fans. I know a few Scousers that are Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I always respected Liverpool as a football club. The way they've always gone about things, the class of the club, the things that they've won over the years. And, you've got a manager at the moment in Klopp that it's one of those managers that sometimes you look at, you want to hate him, but you can't, because he's just like, every club would have him. You know what I mean? Because he's such a good, and he's done great things for you. And I always respect Liverpool. I like the fans as well. I always think like Liverpool fans are so knowledgeable. And be a bit cocky, but if you won the things that you've won, you have the right to be cocky. You know what I mean? So that's why I always enjoy this tie. I always enjoy when we play games. I always like, even a few weeks ago when I was up there for the game, always have great banter with the Liverpool fans.
Liverpool fans love you. Everton fans love you as well. I remember one stopped you in the street.
Fans. Yeah, I like
a picture of him you driving his car with his kids in the back. What's that about? Everton
I
fans.
like the Scousers, man. You know what it is, right? When you go to Liverpool, right? Football is like a religion up there. It's like it's a real football city. So you can't not, if you're into football, you can't not love that place, you know what I mean? Because you go out there, it's a religion there, So, but having said all them nice things about it, we want to smash it this weekend, right? Because we need it. I feel that this game is more important for Arsenal than it is for Liverpool.
I'd agree with that.
You guys are still you got the League Cup Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
So will you be looking with one eye on that, thinking to yourself, well, you know what, we've got to keep a bit back for that, because as Fulham showed, even when they came to Anfield, they're a good side. We've only taken 1 point off of Fulham this season. I was impressed with how they played against us. So that won't be easy. So you've got to have one eye on that. And plus as well, you're top of the league. With us, top of the league at Christmas Day. By the time we got to New Year's, we've dropped down to fourth. So we've got that on our mind. But then on top of that, it's about getting back to winning ways, getting back to confidence, instilling some confidence in the fans who are going to be there in numbers to watch that game. So I feel that this game is more important for us. I can see us going with a really, really strong team. Whereas with you guys, I think you'll go strong, but you may have an eye on something else where you may rest one, or if somebody's carrying a little bit of a niggle, you might just say, whereas with us, even if you look at it, which is another thing kind of to our advantage, is that we don't have a game next weekend. We've got our first part of our winter break. So there's
2 weeks you've got.
Yeah. So there's no game next week, Saturday, and we don't play until the following week. So go for it. Absolutely fully go for it and try and get a big win, which then sort of says to everybody, listen, we've beaten City at home, we've beaten Liverpool at home, write us off at your peril, you know?
And obviously this is a little bit of a taster for what's to come in February when we come to the Emirates again. But I agree with you. That's
another great game as well, you know what I mean? And that'll be a bit of a different game because, you know, you'll have Salah back and that. But, you know, we want to go, we want to...
If Salah gets to the final, we won't have him for that game either.
Come on, Egypt. Come on, Egypt.
Come on, everyone apart from Egypt. Get knocked out nice and early.
And Egypt could, because they've always got a
good
side.
Last year. Last time.
But for me, you know, it's all about now putting those last 2 games behind us and saying 2024, let's start it and get back to what we were doing for the majority of 2023.
I agree. I think Liverpool fans, knowing that we're in the League Cup semi, we're flying high in the Europa League, obviously top of the league. Let me ask you guys at home in the comments, if we could maybe get knocked out of this one but go strong in all other 3, would you be content with that? Let us know. Ooh. In terms of injuries,
can't be throwing away trophies, mate.
No, listen, that's not my opinion, by the way. I want to go and win this. I want to ruin the party, just as they think they're going to welcome in a new era in 2024. We want to dampen it. We want Jota to silence them again. However, we are going to be missing some players. You're going strong. We have to go strong as well. You know,
I think we'll go
the only
strong.
question mark for me is the centre-back and the goalie. Do we chuck Kelleher in? I mean, is there any point in resting Alisson for that game at Fulham? I'm not sure.
Because you've got the game against Fulham, and that is a semi-final.
It's a semi.
I think I actually feel that could be one of our changes. Would be Aaron Ramsdale returning back into goal. I'll be surprised if he doesn't, because I'm sure maybe the manager said to him, all right, don't worry, you're going to get the FA Cup games. So I'd expect him to come back in. But apart from that, and apart from injuries, then there may be a few little niggles. There's been talk of a little injury to Ben White and people like that.
He's been playing through pain, hasn't he?
Yeah, so will he rest players like that? Or will he just say, listen, I ain't got a game for 2 weeks after this, let's just go for it? I'm hoping that's what he does.
For us, I'm loving Kwanzaa this season, Robbie. I think when you see him, if he plays on Sunday in the flesh, he's got everything you need as a 19, 20-year-old to go all the way. Sitting next to Virgil van Dijk, it's not a bad teacher.
You won't play Konate?
Me personally, I would rest Konate for Wednesday.
Because I thought when we played you, he was your best player. I thought he was.
Oh, mate,
he was brilliant.
The way he just threw Martinelli around like a rag doll.
Well, don't get carried away with it.
Well, no, Martinelli's been quiet this season.
But Konate, he did play really well. And I was I remember saying at the time, man, France have got Saliba and Konate.
France don't win,
and they don't even start all the time. You know, they've got Upamecano and these guys. But he was excellent. So if he doesn't start, that's a bonus.
But then you've got Trent and Gomez on right and left. I mean, again, you know, Tsimikas is probably out now for the next 3 months. We know Robertson's coming back in the next couple of weeks. He might be back for the actual game at the Emirates in the league, but that's my defence. In the midfield, McAllister will be starting this one for sure, with Endo missing, who, again, I've spoken to you about Endo, mate. I absolutely love him. Everything he stands for. People wrote him off, and he's been essential to us. Hasn't lost a game when he started for Liverpool so far.
Right, the Japanese players,
mate,
right?
Underrated.
We saw Japan at the World Cup and how good they were, and all of them just seemed to come in and just hit the ground running. I mean, Tomiyasu, you take the injuries out.
Minamino,
he's been brilliant. When you had Minamino, even the other day I was watching Coventry play, and they got a Japanese player again.
Celtic have got a few as well.
They've got a few. Everywhere they're playing, there's some playing in Germany. Everywhere you see them playing, man, they hit the ground running.
They really do.
They really do suit the Premier League and how they and they've got a fair bit of skill as well. They're top players, so it's not surprised me that Endo. It actually surprised me that he sort of got off to a slow start, but I thought he'd do all right. I just think the Japanese players have just got the right attitude, temperament, skill levels to play in the Premier League. They just suit him.
He reminds me of Lucas Leiva.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of
when Lucas Leiva got good.
When he got good, but in terms of that ball-winning fighter mentality, I love it.
No nonsense.
So in the midfield, it will be McAllister. Szoboszlai out with a hamstring injury. We're still waiting a timeline on that. But you could chuck in Harvey. You could chuck in Curtis, who I know you've been talking about a little bit of a linkage there. Not going to happen. Never going to happen.
Good player,
very
good player, but we got Emma Smith-Rowe. Why would we need
play him
Jones? I know. He could
give him a game.
To be fair, he could play this game.
He could play. See him
because I wouldn't mind if he started.
Maybe even switch up the formation.
Yeah, he could actually start this game in midfield. You know
As
what I mean?
a 3.
So, could do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. He's a good player. And then you've got Gravenberch. You've got a couple other players that can play there. We're still waiting on Thiago. I mean, I've been saying that for about 2 years now. Still waiting on Bacetic as well. But then up front,
yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, man.
Is he still injured?
Growing pains, apparently, because he's 18
Yeah,
and he's still growing
Happens,
pains.
yeah.
And then up front, this is where it gets interesting. There will be no Mo Salah. So do you move Harvey onto that side, who, when he first came to Liverpool, that was kind of his role. You could also play Jota there. I mean, if Salah's away, you're going to have to play Núñez through the middle or Gakpo and then Diaz on the left. Ben Doak might have played in that situation, but he's injured as well. So as much as you're going strong, Jota as well, he loves it at the Emirates.
No, you got a very good
have
squad.
To go strong.
You got a very good squad. So
this one to me, let's get into the score predictions, because obviously you're going to be there. I'll see you after the game on the fan games. I'll see you Monday on DR as well. So I don't know. Someone's going to be in a mud because you can't draw. Well, you can draw these games, I suppose, but I'd prefer, even if it was a draw, straight into extra time and pens. But what do you reckon then, man?
I'm going to go, we're at home. I know we lost our last game at home to West Ham, but I do expect a response. I do feel that Liverpool will come on to Arsenal. They're not going to sit back and park the bus like what West Ham did. And that will, I think we're more adept at playing against that type of team, even though, Liverpool are very, very good. And
it was like that last year in the league, 3-2 to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think we'll win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Arsenal. I think our forward players are going to step up. I think players like Gabriel Jesus, who I feel have the talent to turn games like this, is going to step up in the game. So I'm going to go 2-1.
I'll go 3-2 Liverpool. I do think there's goals in this one. And if you remember correctly, last year I said it will be 3-2, but I don't know to which team because it was that close. So I'll just nick it to Liverpool. I mean, listen, Arsenal have won this competition 13 times. They are the kings of the FA Cup.
Won it more times than any other team.
Exactly.
We love this competition.
How many times have you won the Champions League?
Huh?
What? Oh, no, sorry, this is an FA Cup preview, isn't it?
I was about to leave, walk out of the studio,
you know what I mean? But as I said, Arsenal, no
That was horrible, by the way.
Listen, man, it's a little shot.
That was disgusting.
It's a little shot. I'm sure my audience will like it.
I would love it if we beat him. Love it.
Kevin, Robbie. Right, listen, man, it's going to be a great occasion, as it always is. As I said, we've still got the Emirates to come in around about 3.5 weeks. So looking forward to that. Rob, as always, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Happy birthday.
To the Kop TV. 4 years old today. Terrible toddler age. But hopefully the next 4 years is even more beautiful. Let us know, by the way, your favourite Kop TV moment in the last 4 years in the comments. But make sure you smash the like button. Go show some love to this fella right here. Also, make sure if you haven't already, go show some love to DR Sports, because the work we're doing on that channel, we're in the World Cup, we're in the studio, we're going to the Euros. So that is the place to be as well, if it's just banter for every single team, not just Liverpool. Make sure you comment with your lineup predictions down below and subscribe to the channel. See you Sunday. Take care. All the best. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Please, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.